welcome to Around San Diego. So glad to have you with me. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and look ahead in just 30 minutes. We do begin, though, with a countywide manhunt. The search is still on for the suspect who San Diego police say shot one of their own officers in the arm. The shooting happened before noon on Thursday near Whiteman and Ogden Streets in Choyas Creek. Police say the suspect was in a stolen truck when an officer tried to pull him over. That's when they say he got out and ran and opened fire. That officer was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. Right now, police say the suspect is armed and dangerous. If you have any information, you are asked to contact police. And the man accused of killing a beloved donut shop owner is sentenced to several decades behind bars, 4 years after murdering 58-year-old Randy Tang during a break-in. The killer pleaded guilty. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe reports on his sentencing day in court.
A judge handed Keon Wilson a 24 years, 4 months to life prison sentence. Loved ones say it won't bring the victim back, but it does provide somewhat of closure. Family and loved ones of Randy Tang say they can finally move on from the nightmare they've been living in for the past 4 years.
It's been a long 4 years, but justice finally gained some closure.
Keon Wilson pleaded guilty to killing Tang inside his Claremont Mesa home in 2019. Tang died several days later from his injuries. He owned Rose Donuts in Linda Vista for 25 years. His wife, emotional as she spoke out in court, said the longtime businessman was a loving husband, father, and grandfather.
Why you kill my husband for my love?
Wilson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 additional counts of residential burglary. Tang's son thanked the defendant for owning up for what he did.
Thank you for acknowledging what you did.
The prosecutor in the case said Wilson has a criminal history and had 2 prior strikes for residential burglary in Poway and Carlsbad, 2 more outside of the county.
There was a substantial amount of loss suffered by the families in this case.
She says that Wilson was part of a sophisticated criminal organization that targeted victims who were owners of small businesses.
And preyed upon the stereotype that they may not keep their money in a bank, but may keep it at home in a safe. They would target So they targeted the small business owners, and they went in a very tight time frame.
The case went cold for 2 years. It was technology that helped detectives track down Wilson.
Had exhausted almost every investigatory outlet until they utilized the technology of a reverse location search. And through that, what were known as Google geofences, they were able to uncover 2 devices that were at one location tied to the burglary and just 1 device that was in or close to the Tang household.
The criminal organization is said to be based out of Los Angeles. Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
Yeah, Rocio, thanks. Just unfathomable, and you do hope some justice is reached there. We have been following this story from the start. For more of our coverage, just head to CBS8.com. Well, now to an update on the man killed in a motorcycle accident at a motocross park on Tuesday. He has been identified as 29-year-old X Games and BMX star Pat Casey. Authorities say Casey died after he crashed his dirt bike at the Sleigh Ground, a riding center in Ramona. Paramedics, of course, tried to revive him before pronouncing him dead at the scene. Casey won medals at both the 2012 and 2013 X Games. He leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Meantime, families of gun violence victims alongside National City Police want the community's help in solving crimes. They are asking witnesses to come forward with any information about a double murder in October and a double shooting in February. As CBS 8's David Godfredson reports, the plea comes with new surveillance video and sketches of these suspects.
My life has been pretty much destroyed, and I have been picking up the pieces.
Diana Del Valle is speaking about her 16-year-old daughter, Julian Aguilera, who was shot and killed in October of last year on East 17th Street in National City.
I can't be in peace knowing that this person's still out there and possibly committing other crimes.
The double homicide also killed 18-year-old Edwin Barrera. His family, too, is still searching for justice.
If you love Edwin and Julian, like you say you do, please come forward with any information that you have.
Relatives of both teenagers stood side by side Thursday with National City Police, asking for witnesses to come forward to help identify the murderer in the unsolved case.
Prior to this incident, Edwin and Julian had been at a house party, a Halloween party, just down the street from where this incident occurred. We know that there were dozens and dozens of teens and young adults at this party.
Another shooting in February on East Plaza Boulevard in National City severely wounded 20-year-old Michael Porter and 17-year-old Davy Astaraga as they were walking to a taco shop.
A car containing the suspects showed up. One of the passengers of the vehicle exited the vehicle and shot our two victims in the head.
These are newly released sketches of the suspected gunman in the taco shop shooting, which also remains unsolved. The vehicle the gunman was riding in is seen on surveillance video both before and after the shooting.
We need the public's help in identifying that vehicle and the occupants of that vehicle.
The two shooting attacks may or may not be related, but family members say this type of gun violence has to stop, as it destroys the lives of those who loved the victims.
We are the voices of our children, and we'll keep fighting until justice is served.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
And you can call National City Police with any information, or you can make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. You can call 888-580-8477. Hopefully we can. Well, new numbers show the homeless crisis is only getting worse in San Diego County, with more and more people sleeping on the streets. The results from the latest point in count survey shows 10,000 people are homeless. That's a 22% increase from just last year. According to the count, about 5,000 are in shelters, while the other 5,000 are sleeping on the streets. Of those surveyed, about 80% of people say they became homeless in San Diego. We talked to Tamara Kohler from the Regional Task Force on Homelessness, who says mental health and substance abuse, they're huge factors.
You can imagine if you're experiencing homelessness in those really difficult conditions, it's going to increase and exacerbate any mental health issues. A lot of people self-medicate, use of substance. We have heard from folks experiencing homelessness that if they didn't have a problem before, it definitely becomes a problem the longer that they're experiencing homelessness.
Yeah, so this coming Tuesday, San Diego City Council is expected to vote on the unsafe camping ordinance, a tool for clearing encampments. You can read more about that as well as hear from Mayor Todd Gloria on our website, cbs8.com. Well, a local organization is calling on the San Diego County Health Department to declare a public health emergency around hepatitis A. Cases are on the rise in San Diego, with 19 of the 29 cases occurring in homeless populations. Shane Harris with the People's Association of Justice Advocates says because of the growing homeless population, leaders need to get ahead of the hepatitis A outbreak by activating this county response.
Being that we have over 2,000 homeless individuals living on our streets in San Diego, we need a proactive stance to how we're going to respond to hepatitis A, not a reactive stance.
Yeah, Hep A is a highly contagious liver infection that spreads from contaminated food or water or by contact with human waste from an infected person. It can be treated with a vaccine, and most people infected do recover. Well, the city of San Diego will spend nearly $5 million in the next 5 years to pay for MTS bus and trolley passes for all city employees. It's a new agreement called the U-Pass program. The city says it will curb gas emissions and encourage people to use public transit. The agreement is set to last through 2028. Well, the federal indictment against Donald Trump has been unsealed ahead of Tuesday's court appearance in Miami. Federal prosecutors are charging him, the former president, with 37 counts, all related to his handling of classified documents after he left office. The charges include willfully retaining national defense secrets and obstruction. The former president claims he declassified the sensitive materials when he left the White House. Friday, for the first time time, we heard from special counsel Jack Smith, who's been investigating this case.
Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced.
Yeah, on social media, Trump has accused the Biden administration of weaponizing the Justice Department, but President Biden insists the department acts independently. If you'd like to read the charges for yourself, we have all of those documents posted online at CBS8.com. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom is threatening Florida Governor Ron DeSantis with kidnapping charges after Florida confirmed it flew 36 migrants to Sacramento. The migrants, who are legally allowed to work in the U.S., say that they were approached outside of a Texas shelter with promises of employment and housing. The first plane dropped off 16 migrants last Friday, and another private plane carrying 20 migrants arrived on Monday. The asylum seekers told officials they didn't know their destination until they landed. Florida's Department of Emergency Management says the migrants consented to go either verbally or in writing. Well, another major insurer has stopped issuing new property insurance policies in California. Allstate is no longer selling new home, condominiums, or commercial insurance policies in the state. The company says the reasons are more expensive building costs and worsening climate conditions. Allstate is the state's fourth largest property and casualty insurance provider. The company's move follows a similar decision by State Farm just last week. Well, officials in one Julian community are warning this year's fire season could be one of the worst, and it's just a matter of time when one breaks out. That's why neighbors are coming together to start wildfire prevention early. CBS 8's Steve Price has more.
For those living in the greater Julian area, it's not a matter of if there will be a fire, but when. So neighbors are coming together now to reduce the fuels in their community, so when that fire does start, it won't burn nearly as fast and they can save their home.
People living in Wynola Estates hope this is the sound of safety. Branches sure to dry up over the summer, going through a chipper now and all the way for free.
What's the best part of living out here?
Being able to see the stars at night.
Harry Seaford is a former fire chief and current head of the Wynola Estates Fire Safe Council, which organized this event. He says this area has been lucky with no major fires in a very long time, but with all the rain this year, grasses are growing fast, and he's worried their luck is about to run out. So neighbors are helping neighbors to clear their property before it's too late.
What we're having the people do is trim all their trees up 6 to 8 feet and keep the grass down underneath, because most fires travel through the grass because that's the easiest, most ignitable source.
And once the flames jump into a tree, the fire becomes a lot more intense. But hiring crews to cut and haul away branches can get expensive, so neighbors are working together to do it themselves, and their efforts will certainly buy fire crews precious minutes.
Fire will burn 3 to 4 times the fuel height. So if you got a 1-foot piece of grass that's burning very hot, the flame front could be up as high as 4 feet.
The Fire Safe Council received grants to pay for the equipment, so this is all free for residents, which is great because many are retired and on fixed incomes, making this type of clearance a huge financial burden. Residents can choose to keep their clippings or have them hauled off, or they will be donated to other areas for weed control and hopefully lessen fire dangers there too.
You know, we can't guarantee that we're not going to have houses burned down in fires, but this sure lessens the chance of involvement.
In Julian, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Yeah, seems like a win-win. Steve, thank you. Meantime, crews in Rancho Bernardo are now fixing roads that were damaged 16 years ago in the Witch Creek fire. The fire burned more than 1,200 homes across San Diego and melted streets in Rancho Bernardo. Mayor Todd Gloria says road repair investments in San Diego have been, quote, patchy throughout the years. So crews will resurface and restripe more than 2 miles of roads out there and hope to be done by the end of this month. Well, low-income and unhoused pet owners in San Diego are getting free veterinary care for their animals. CBS 8's Brian White shows us the difference that the LA Vet Project made in dozens of lives already.
I'm Dr. Brian, so I'll be helping Princess out today.
Dr. Brian Hernick and the team at LA Vet Project set up shop today downtown on 17th Street at the San Diego Day Center, operated by Father Joe's Villages.
Do you have any questions today?
Over the span of 5 hours, dozens of pet owners brought their furry loved ones in for free veterinary care.
I love him a lot. He's my best friend. I go everywhere with him, you know what I mean?
Natalio is inseparable from his Rottweiler Oso, and he takes relatively good care of him out on the streets.
He's in good health. I feed him every day. I give him water every day. He's my partner in crime.
Oso got a basic checkup and received a couple vaccines and dewormer.
It's pretty nice we're able to kind of offer some vaccines, just general medications, just some basic health care.
Little Princess here received a basic checkup too, and something to take care of that annoying itch she's been having.
We gave everything to help us kind of feel a little bit better, that those fleas, gave some flea medications to hopefully stop that itching, okay?
Dr. Hernick is a local ER veterinarian, and he was recruited to help out here. You see, the LA Vet Project is a nonprofit, and they travel around the country in this mobile vet care facility, going to where the help is needed most.
You can hear it in the owners' voices. You can just see the help that we're giving. It's a really incredible feeling to know that we can go anywhere we need to and help any pets that come to us.
Natalio and others were more than grateful for this opportunity.
It's kind of a good treat, you know what I mean? Because it saved me from a lot of hassle with the bill.
And for those providing the care, the work is really rewarding.
It's able to kind of give them just, I guess, the ability to just kind of take care of their animals when they feel like, when they run into situations where they can't. So we're able to kind of at least give them something. Well, let us know if you need anything, but you have a good day, okay?
Now, before they head to Los Angeles, the LA Vet Project will be offering more free care Tuesday morning from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at St. Mark's City Heights Episcopal Church on Fairmount Avenue. I'm Brian White for CBS 8.
That's incredible. So generous. Brian, thanks. Well, after a 3-year hiatus, therapy dogs are back at UC San Diego Health. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they were forced to take a break, but now the dogs are back and happy to work with patients again. We spoke with Amber Kiefer and her dog Willow. They're part of the Tender Loving Canine Therapy Dog Program and specifically visit patients there in the burn unit. That's because years ago, Kiefer's son was in the unit himself, and she says dogs really helped her son heal, and she loves watching Willow do the same for others.
Being in a hospital is not necessarily that much fun and not necessarily things to do. So this is something new, refreshing. I can talk to. Many people have dogs and they can't have their dogs in here. So they really miss their dogs. So they can kind of, do that through her. They get to see a dog, gives them hope, some happiness.
Great program, so cute. So the Tender Loving Canine Therapy Dog Program is looking for more volunteers to join them. If you're interested, you can head to cbs8.com for more information. And if you haven't been to your local library lately, you might be missing out. CBS 8's Shannon Handy shows us there's so much more to check out than just books.
I'll admit I hadn't been to the library in a long time, but after having visited several throughout our county for this story, I was amazed by all they have to offer. Come take a look.
Growing up, I knew the library is a place to check out books, but like most things these days, it's evolved, giving people access to everything from computers to 3D printers, exercise classes, and more.
So many people don't know all of the things that we have to offer.
Misty Jones is the director of the San Diego Library System, which has 36 locations. Amid the pandemic in 2021, San Diego Library saw their highest number of new users, with nearly 120,000 people applying for library cards. This year, however, even with libraries fully back open, those numbers are on the decline, marking a 13-year low. Jones isn't concerned. For starters, a lot of people who come to the library don't have cards, so they're not tracked. On top of that, they're still rebounding from the pandemic.
Just like businesses and everything are a little bit slow to come back, Libraries are the same.
Jones is optimistic, saying once people discover the benefits of a library, they'll likely return. I went to several to see what she means, while in La Jolla, I watched adults take part in a Qigong class.
Regresa rápido.
Meanwhile, kids gathered for bilingual story time. Branch manager Bill Mallory gave me a tour of their Idea Lab, where people can use 3D printers, biology equipment, iMac computers, and a laser cutter, all for free. In Mira Mesa, more 3D printers. This one created a mini owl for me to take home. Mira Mesa also has kid classes and books in different languages that fit the culture of the area. Check out these images from Logan Heights, which has its own recording studio.
Some libraries have things that other ones don't. For example, here in San Ysidro, they have sewing machines where people can come and create whatever they want. They even have an outdoor movie theater.
There is something for every single person at the library.
Using your library card, you can check out hotspots, Chromebooks, and have ebooks downloaded to your personal device. You can also check out a California State Park Pass, which gets you into all the state parks for free. Something else I learned, you can earn your high school diploma. County libraries offer the same service. Not only that, but through the library's Discover and Go program, you can access free tickets to the zoo, Skate World, even the ballet. To do so, log in online, search for an opening on any given day, and the passes are yours. Jones says one of the library's key missions is to create equity.
Regardless of their circumstance, they can learn something new, they can experience something new.
As for what the future holds, Jones says there's a concentrated effort to add more virtual offerings in this post-COVID era. Still, those brick and mortar libraries aren't going anywhere. In fact, a new one is scheduled to be built in Pacific Highlands Ranch next year.
If you'd like more information on any of the programs mentioned or what else our local libraries offer, just log on to CBS8.com and click on this story. For CBS 8, I'm Shanna Handy.
I just learned a lot. Shannon, honestly, thank you. Really good stuff happening there. Well, dozens of San Diego students are getting a hands-on safety lesson in Mission Bay. This event is part of San Diego's Bridge to the Beach program. 82 fifth graders from Hague Elementary in Mira Mesa spent the afternoon at Santa Clara Point learning safety tips for swimming, surfing, and paddleboarding. This program is designed to give many students their first trip to the beach.
That's the main goal, is to get them proficient as swimmers and to give them experiences that they may not have maybe necessarily have had or will have.
Yeah, so this is the first Bridge to the Beach event held since 2019. It was temporarily suspended, you know it, because of the pandemic. Well, a church in Santee is showing support for the city's LGBTQ+ community with a walk this weekend. Mayor John Minto says that this is not a march and it's likely not going to be as big as a parade as Pride events in other cities, but he says the city still wants to get the message across of inclusivity and dispel what he calls Santee's old reputation of not being tolerant. Jesse Pagan reports.
Santee's local United Methodist Church is planning a Pride Walk this coming weekend where Mayor John Minto says he will be a speaker.
A lot of people don't believe that the church will embrace people of a different cultural background, even LGBTQ+. It's not the truth.
Minto says the church reached out to him and city council after an incident this January when a teen said she was, quote, terrified after seeing what she thought was a naked man in the women's locker room at the YMCA. That led to protests and support for trans woman Kristen Wood, who spoke out at a city council meeting 2 weeks later.
I am a threat to no one. In the year I've been a member of the Y, children have attended summer camp and have been with their parents and grandparents in the women's locker room with me, and there has never ever been an incident, ever.
The city leader stepped in with Minto then saying he would work with the YMCA to make sure everyone felt, quote, safe and valued. Last month, the YMCA finished remodeling its locker rooms to add more privacy.
The church heard about that and said, we want our council to come out and represent, because we know that they're embracing everybody. And I thought it was a great idea.
The church started holding small virtual Pride events during the pandemic, but this walk comes at a time when LGBTQ rights and Pride displays are being contested nationwide.
People are surprised that we would do this in Santee because we have a reputation, a long reputation of not being tolerant. Well, that's an old reputation. Nobody believes that anymore.
That was our Jesse Pagan reporting. Appreciate it. Well, Pope Francis has named a Mira Mesa priest and auxiliary bishop for the Diocese of San Diego. Father Michael Pham will join another bishop alongside Cardinal Robert McElroy to support the diverse Catholic community in San Diego and Imperial counties. Pham came to the United States at just 13 years old after fleeing Vietnam in 1980. He says he was shocked to receive the phone call that he had been appointed by the Pope.
It was overwhelming and emotional, exciting, but then just also kind of nervous in the sense of what is next.
Congratulations. So Pham will be consecrated as bishop in Mass on September 28th. Hey, and if you've ever been wondering where all of the beautiful blooming jacaranda trees are this year, you're not alone. It seems the bloom is a little less brilliant this time around. So we sent our Brian White out to find out why.
We're used to seeing these purple flowers all over our jacarandas this time of year, but so far this season, they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
They've been blooming maybe later than usual, and also not as much.
This is footage I took last year of the blooming jacarandas on Claremont Drive. This is what they look like now. Big difference.
They're not purple flowers anymore.
No, this year is nothing.
These are jacarandas I shot last year in Balboa Park, and here are those same trees now. Some flowers, but nothing like last year.
They just haven't been as wow, they're so purple, and so, yeah, I don't know. They're just a little lackluster this year.
But my search wasn't totally in vain. I'm standing next to the best jacaranda tree I could find here outside the Long Waterman House in Bankers Hill. It's still not quite as brilliant as last year, but most other places I looked, the jacarandas were pretty bare. I caught Marcela Gracia snapping a photo of this same tree. She's a big fan of the jacarandas.
Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful ones, and every time I go out, I try to look at a different tree.
So what gives? Why are we not seeing as much purple this year?
Well, you know, jacarandas are tropical trees. They're used to low water situations, high heat, and we didn't really get any spring heat, so things are still sleepy to wake up.
Daniel Kump is district manager for the Davy Tree Expert Company, and he says customers have been wondering what's going on.
We're actually getting a lot of calls about the jacarandas. People are saying, my tree's dead, what's happening? Well, they're just slow to wake up this season because of all the cold weather, the dreary conditions we have, the lack of sunlight, and the lack of heat.
While things may be looking a little bleak, experts say there's still hope that our jacarandas will pull through, albeit a little late.
Absolutely. I hope they pull through this year and just surprise us and maybe a little late blooming.
In San Diego, Brian White, CBS 8.
Yeah, it has been well below average, really cold for us. So hopefully once that sun comes out, so will those flowers. All right, well, a San Diego inventor has an idea that he hopes can help save the planet. In the Zevely Zone, Jeff is in North Park to introduce us to the V-Locker.
E-bikes have made it easier for cyclists to travel farther and faster. But a San Diego inventor thought one critical piece of the puzzle was missing.
I'm trying to make it so people can get around without cars.
Brian Hoffman grew up loving bicycles and the earth and takes both very seriously.
There's not really been a concentrated effort for people in general to really use bikes for transportation.
A lot of people are riding electric bikes for fun, but Brian believes a cycling revolution is just spinning its wheels if people can't carry their stuff.
This is called the V-Locker.
He invented a lightweight aluminum box that mounts to most bicycles. I can't unscrew it and take it with me.
Nope, you can't remove it from the bicycle. You would have to steal the whole bicycle.
As for cargo space,
2 bicycle helmets will fit in there. You know, you can fit a week's worth of groceries.
A laptop, a purse, a small bag.
Yeah, absolutely. 50 beers with ice.
I'm taking a video. V-Lockers also have removable lids.
It creates a way
for kids
where you can have a person sit up here.
Or if you really want to have some fun.
This is Otis, the stunt dog. He's our secret weapon.
And because safety always comes first. Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
You're riding 40 miles a day?
Huh?
Yeah, at least.
Since 2018, Brian sold about 100 V-Lockers, which may not sound like a lot, but
we're at a point where we're getting ready to set up a factory to manufacture these things.
V-Lockers start at $350, a one-time buy-in to help you lower your carbon footprint for years.
Electric bikes are really the only way we can get there. We cannot get there without electric bikes.
Brian hopes to sell hundreds of thousands of V-Lockers in the next 5 years. And if you think that sounds like a dream,
I think it's a dream to help one person get out of their car and get onto a bicycle. That's a dream to me.
In the Zevely Zone.
I told you to put a smile on your face.
I'm smiling. Jeff Seville. Otis is our star. CBS 8.
Well, this year's fair has some tasty new treats, of course, and a few culinary surprises. CBS 8's Steve Price got this lucky assignment and is working hard for you, trying out the new items and letting us know how much you'll pay for them.
When I was a kid, I came to the fair for the rides, but now that I'm older and wiser, I'm here for the food. And lucky for me, this year there are a lot of new options.
So many choices, but fair food can get expensive. So this year, I'm here for the new stuff.
Can you guess what this is? I've got a surprise for you.
It's called Wicked Kitchen, and it's the fair's first fully plant-based restaurant. I got the bao. They're filled with a spicy slaw, but those aren't meatballs.
The main ingredient is pea protein.
The price, $16.50. So is it worth it?
This is really good.
Boba King is also new this year and is sure to be popular when the weather heats up.
A hot seller is going to be the taro milk tea, the Thai milk tea, regular milk tea is always good.
This is strawberry milk tea. It sells for $10 and definitely gets a thumbs up. This is a pound of bread and deep fried cheese. I got it at Cheesy Chef for $15. And trust me, your entire family can share it. More appropriately sized is in-your-face pies. You get 2 fruit-filled treats for $10.
It's pineapple, and it's absolutely delicious.
Another new dessert is Hawaiian honey cones. The honey and corn cone is filled with ice cream and costs $20.
I've only heard, but not like this, I imagine. So this is actually an old song from out of England.
Pretty good.
Jammed right into
So good.
old
Chicken Charlie's isn't new, but he added some new items to the menu.
Cheers. Cheers.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos pot stickers make a tasty snack. And for dessert, he created something specifically for the fair's camping theme.
Deep fried s'more, and it's on a stick. Marshmallowy goodness.
Fresh and tasty pizza added a pickle pizza to their menu and one with pickles and Flamin' Hot Cheetos. We also discovered a new kettle corn flavor, churro. There's definitely something on the menu for everyone at this year's fair, but the only thing going on a diet will be your wallet, which is sure to leave a bit lighter. Working for you, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Again, tough assignment, right? Hopefully you're able to get out to the fair and try a few of those things as well. Well, before we say goodbye, you can now get the new Padres library card. New users can get the card for free at any of the city's 36 libraries. And if you already have one, you can replace it at no cost. The library says this is a fun way to promote reading. Right now, the library is also promoting its summer reading program. Kids can earn prizes, including museum passes. That runs through August 31st. Well, as always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for staying informed. Be sure to join me each week as I take you around San Diego. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care.